All right. Strap on in for another episode of Breaking the Mould. I'm your host, Sean Greer. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Voltec Services, the punctual tradies that treat your home like a home and not like a job site. And Element Interiors, commercial shop fitting company bringing your lifelong dream to reality. Today we have on the podcast Connor O'Rourke from Nuago, which I believe stands for you like to work, but you always like a break. Always want to break.
No, I like what you're trying to do there, but no. So it doesn't really mean anything, right?
No?
So when we started the business, we're sitting there chucking around all these sort of words on a whiteboard, trying to come up with, number one, something that kind of resonated with people. Number two, try to find a domain name that's available.
Oh yeah.
Register that, and it's something that doesn't really seem like the same in the industry. It seemed like everybody has data or calm or logic, or these sort of these sort of derivatives of technical words. Right. And our industry is moving so quickly that we didn't want to be typecasted and really, be able to be put on a shelf of you're this type of company, because we tend to keep responding to the needs of the market and becoming a new company ideally each day, is really listening to what the customer needs. So we've exhausted every English word in the bloody dictionary, and so a lot of what we do is focused around hybrid or public cloud and those sort of things. Yeah. People often ask, well, what is cloud and those things, but the French word for cloud is nuage, N-U-A-G-E.
Really?
And that was we talked to an IP lawyer, and that was owned by Nokia, the phone manufacturer. It's owned by them in Europe. And we're like, really,
are they still alive? Are they?
I think so.
I've not seen a Nokia.
Throwback 3210. I miss the days of Snake. But we said, all right, well, let's kind of change the last letter of it. Nuago, we thought it was evocative to really take action and those sort of things. Kind of having go on the end. It was 5 letters short. The domain was available.
No way.
And we thought it was really easy for kind of people to remember, and we could.
That's cool.
We could build something behind it. That word would then mean something. So.
Well, that's so cool. Like, it's interesting to see how you come up. Like, I, as a business owner now, I always drive past businesses and I see like a logo or I see like the name, and I'm like, they at one point in their life were like, that's it,
100%.
Like we've nailed it, And it's really funny getting your perspective on it, that you've gone away from the traditional naming on purpose to create something that's niche, but also not defined in one silo. Which is pretty fucking cool, man.
Oh, thanks, brother.
That's
we never really wanted to build it to have a finite endpoint, so it's kind of organic in its own right, and it kind of keeps shaping into its own thing, really.
Well, that's it. Like, I agree. Like with Voltec, I started off Volt Tech. Pretty complex. How I thought of that, eh?
I know. It's walking through it.
Yeah. And now I'm diversifying into plumbing and air conditioning, and I'm finding it a bit tedious. People are like, oh, do you actually do plumbing? Yeah.
Right.
So I've now sort of siloed by the name into one thing without even knowing what my journey was going to be. So that's something that people can think about before they step in. Like, what's the future? What's that 10-year plan? Instead of that right now plan.
Absolutely.
Because I'm 4 years in, and I'm diversifying now, and it's like, well, if I knew that before.
Yeah. Well, it's hard, right? Because you find these pivots along the way.
Yeah.
And you kind of never know really where you're gonna land.
You never do.
I was reading Shoe Dog. The Phil Knight story, the guy that started Nike.
Oh yeah.
Even sitting there and then listening to his story and going, because you'd never think about it. You see people walking around with their kicks with a swoosh on them all day, but even hearing his story, he's a dude backyarding it that was leveraged like crazy, ran out of cash several times, would just show up at track meets, open the boot of his car, flogging shoes to people that were falling apart.
Jesus.
And he rapidly came up with a name real quick one day, and
I did not know that.
It's a fascinating book. You should check it out. It's on Audible.
What's it called?
Shoe Dog.
Shoe Dog, okay. And this is the founder of Nike.
Yeah. Because he, to start with, was selling Onitsuka Tigers. So he'd fly to Japan, and he went and he just tried to go to a whole bunch of different factories and beg with people, hey, look, can I get some shoes to take back to the States and flog? And so he was sitting there that he had so much success, but didn't have a lot of business now, right? So, all the rakes that we step on along the way.
Heavy rakes. Some are bigger than the other ones. But some of them are fun, and it's all learning. You can only do what you can do.
Exactly.
And a part of the piece that I've found over the last year, I don't know if you were similar to this, I can only do what's in my power.
100%.
Whatever's out of your power, you just...
Well, you want to control everything as much as you can.
100%.
Well, you can fix everything, but you know what? You've got to build leverage into the company. It's like having children. You've at a point in time you need to let them trip over a little bit.
100%.
You need to let the company get some scabs on its elbows and those sort of things from those things. So, that's probably the hardest journey, right?
Yeah.
Is becoming the leader the company needs you to be at the point in time, right?
Yeah.
So, and you graduate to the different levels where you're doing everything to where you need to then really move up to the guy circling around everything, being the chief of culture type stuff is something we talk a lot about. So.
Yeah, the culture is king, man.
It certainly is.
That's one thing that, can you speak to a bit of how you guys build your culture and the values that you guys have day to day inside your team?
Yeah, look, I think often people, they don't define culture appropriately. I think culture is the output of your value set and how you live in the company. People think they come and they see it at a table tennis table and having beers on a Friday or putting on a sausage sizzle. They think, oh, it's a great culture. You started with those things. No, they happen as a result, I think, of the culture. So, as a result of the values. So we always talk about having a culture of performance. Yeah. Right? We work damn hard. Yeah. But as a result of that, we get to do the fun stuff on the back of it. The values set, like a couple of the key ones for me: sense of goose, right? Flying V, quack, quack, quack. Yeah. A couple of Mighty Ducks fans, hockey fans, right? Yeah. But effectively, the geese fly in a formation when they migrate. Yeah. And the goose at the front, like when you're in NASCAR or racing, they draft, right? So the one at the front's taking the brunt of cutting through the air. Yeah. Gets quite tired and will drop away from the V. For sure. A few of them from the back will pick it up and bring it back up into formation. Nice. And then the kind of next one takes the kind of front. So that's one of the ones we really like. Try to use an anecdote.
Man. That's so cool.
Oh, thanks, bro. It's rather than having what we call hygiene value. Like a single word, teamwork. Okay, great. Everyone's going to think about teamwork the way that they do, but we like having the analogy, the example with it as well. The other one would be Kaizen quality. So there's this guy Deming that went to Japan, I think it was in the 50s, and he's total quality management. I'm sure you're familiar with these sort of things. But Kaizen means continuous improvement. Each day improving. If it's not broken, fix it anyway. Yeah, right. How can we make the engagement a little bit better? Like whenever we've engaged with Voltec, it's so different to dealing with any other trade service that we've ever done.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah, getting message. Hey, I'm actually going to be there in 15 minutes. Rather than I'll show up somewhere between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. today.
You're welcome, by the way. That's what they say. Like, I'll be there if I can get there.
Exactly. Or even to turn up to give you a quote. Yeah. So, the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. 100%. And so I think as the leaders in the company, you gotta walk the walk and talk the talk every single day. And hopefully as a result, out of the back of that, you have what people would call a positive culture. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I know when I go into your place, it's always vibing. The guys are happy. And I actually get comments every single time my staff go there. They're like, my God, man, those guys, everyone's just so happy. Awesome. And that's a tribute to you guys and what you guys set up. It's so cool.
Hey, look, man, we're really blessed to have this. I wake up every day going, I don't know why these people listen to my dumbass.
I wanted that too.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. But same goes. The folks you have come in, they're personable. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're not just there to do a job. You actually ask them how they're doing. They sit there and actually have a positive chat with you.
Exactly, and that's part of it. That's what people. It's not a transaction. No. There's a relationship in everything you do. And there's a way to go about it. Even just going to, I have a rule. We clean up no matter what, right? It seems very simple, and I use this analogy when I get guys and ask the question. It's like, well, if you don't clean up, right, and the guy, even if the husband goes to you or wife goes to you, no, that's fine, mate. Don't worry about it. Like, we'll clean up. I'll clean it up. That's fine. He forgets. The missus comes home and she goes, oh, hey. So Sparky didn't clean up. He's not going to claim it, is he? He's going to go, oh, yeah, no, he definitely didn't. Oh,
exactly. Damn Sparky.
And it's like that little tiny thing, right? She's going to then maybe potentially go to her friends and be like, I didn't clean up.
Absolutely.
And it's things like that. And then treating people, because a lot of tradespeople get stuck into it's like the revolution of it being a transaction and a building site. It's just a job. And I'm like, it's someone's home. Right. That's a house. That's their safe place.
Totally.
That's their environment.
Absolutely.
And that's how you have to treat it. You don't treat it like, oh, it's just another job. And that's some of the stuff we work in heavily when we do our toolbox meetings, and that's why you get that result, and that's why everything's clean when we're done. It's just they seem like little things and 1%ers,
but that's what makes the difference.
Correct.
I don't mean this disparagingly at all, but you can get anybody to run some power cables for you from an electrical company, 100%. Right? But you're not going to get the experience that you have, and that's what's going to hopefully keep people coming back constantly.
Exactly right. Anyone can run. I said that to everybody. Everyone can run a PowerPoint, and this is why we're going down this journey as well. Is we want to stand out. We want to fade away from the background and go, hey, this is who we are. This is our values. Right. This is why you want to work with us, not because I can put a PowerPoint in for $10 and cheaper than Richard down the road.
Exactly.
Because Richard down the road will be 2 hours late. His paperwork sucked and you're not invoiced.
Yeah, no, same goes.
Do you know, like
we don't manufacture anything in Nuago.
Yeah,
right. You can go buy the same stuff that we can sell you from tons of people in town. Yeah, but it's the services that you wrap around it, the people that are in front of it. Yeah, and it's
the guarantee as well.
Absolutely. Knowing that you can have access to one of the owners of the company.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
You know, not sitting there in the back office.
Exactly. Where I think a lot of the disparity with the public and business owners, they go, well, I don't want to talk to them. I'm the big dog.
Yeah. Oh, I've done my part. I started the company.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Get the fuck out there, man.
You better be number one salesperson.
Yeah.
Right?
They're out there, you know, so no, that's so cool. I love it. So why did you guys, at what point did you guys decide that you were going to start Nuago, and like, how did this happen?
I don't really know.
Yeah.
It's crazy how all of a sudden things just start to take shape sometimes. So in the family I've grown up in, entrepreneurialism has kind of always been in the family, and in IT and tech. My old man worked in Silicon Valley and those things. So I kind of grew up around it quite a lot, but I think for a long time I wanted to resist it, and you know, went off to the States to university to really try my hand, understand who I was as a man, and really start to, I guess, get to know myself and what I wanted to do with my life. And the things I studied in school have no correlation to what I now do for a living. I'd like to think that maybe I picked up some skills along the way that I can, you know, bring with me. Yeah, totally. But you know, I went to a bachelor in journalism.
Yeah, right.
Well,
okay.
I just wanted to do that to go to sportscasting. Right? Hopefully I can commentate on some hockey games.
That'd be
stuff,
sweet.
Right? But anyway, so I came back when I finished uni just for Christmas holidays.
Right.
And my pops had started a company here called Datacom. And he said, hey, come to meet some of the guys that used to be with his old business, Centauri Systems, and went in for a coffee. And I didn't realize I was getting into a job interview. So over coffee, the guys were like, well, would you be interested in, you know, trying your hand at being an internal account manager, an entry-level sales role, and kind of learning the ropes? And I graduated right at the end of 2008 when the GFC was hitting. And so trying to get a job in the States was, and I don't think I was really trying that hard, right?
No.
You know, you're sitting there behind the website just putting in a bunch of resumes, which everybody's doing, right?
Yeah,
so it's so hard to differentiate yourself.
Definitely.
And really get in. And also just coming out of school, you don't have a lot of experience. Everyone's like, you must have 5 years experience. It's like, how do you get a start sometimes? It's a really challenging thing to find. So I went, look, it's time to probably become an adult and start to, you know, I got some bills to pay, and, you know, it was time to really start to take my life a little more seriously. I didn't know that it would end up me kind of staying with sales as a focus. And I always liked dealing with people. Yeah. But anyway, so I went through 6 or 7 years there with Datacom and grew to being general manager of sales for that business. All right. My father had sold out with his business partners about halfway into that time period. Okay. Because they had partnered with a parent entity that bought the shareholding back from the local group. Right. It was flying. You know, they went from 0 to 50 million in 5 years. Yeah, I know that. So,
I've heard that story. Like, crazy, just insane.
Crazy. I don't. You know. So now I sit there. Oh my God. I have no idea how, you know, you deal with that breakneck speed, because it's bloody hard to scale at that speed.
Well, you're scaling at a rapid speed now, but it ain't that.
No, it's certainly not that sort of.
But do you know what I mean? Like, it's still epic, but it's like, my God, to go from 1 to 50 million in 5 years, the resource alone to generate that is enormous.
Absolutely.
People go, oh, it must be, you know, it must have just got lucky. No.
Yeah, you know, you get luckier the more shots you take, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm taking shots. So yes, you got the general manager.
So got the general manager there, and I was enjoying it. Yeah. Right? I went down to a leadership conference down in New Zealand, because that's where the company, the headquarters for the parent company that owns it. And while I was down there, something started to change in my brain a little bit. Going, when the shareholding got bought out, I didn't really necessarily feel that the decisions were being made locally. Great human beings, awesome customers, killer. But, you know, I kind of felt like it was turning into a bit of an East Coast company, and I'd always wanted to try something on my own. And my brother and I were always kind of bouncing around ideas about, you know, what could we do in future? And he was in the Army at the time. Wow. And he'd come back because he'd met a lady, and he'd hurt his back, and so he didn't know if he was going to continue in officer school. And he said, hey, Colin, I've written this business case about, you know, starting an IT company. Let me in.
Oh, you're just like,
how do I get on the paperwork here? And it was an interesting decision, because it's like, do you want to do business with family, right? Yeah. You know, this is my brother that's kicked my ass my whole life, both up and down the hockey rink and at home. And we said, look, let's figure out some founding principles on this, and who would the team be? You know, because we thought, you know, myself, Dad, and Brennan would be nice, but we didn't want to start a family company. Yeah. We wanted to start a business because we felt that we all brought something unique to the table, and could really, I guess, develop something that the market needed. And first and foremost, we want to make sure that you're going to plug a gap in the market. You got to be different. You know, people don't buy your same as they buy your different. So with that, sitting, I think, in end of March of 2016 at a cafe up in Allgate, shook hands on. We met at a neutral location, right?
Yeah.
Who knew how that discussion was going to go?
Your brother's been in the Army, so
exactly. I mean, I was scared, right? No, so we shook hands on it and said, look, you know, here's how the structure would work from a reporting line. So he's my managing director. I report into Brendan, but board members together, and with the other gentleman I mentioned before, two of them were in my team at Datacom, and that was an awkward one, right? Because I didn't want to rip the talent out of the business, but these guys were people that I respected incredibly, and thought, if we're going to make it, I need these guys in the team. So I had one of those kind of
building the team.
You can't unhear these chats. You know what I mean? So we ended up going on that journey together. Fortunately, the boys said, hey, we're crazy enough too to lean into this thing and throw some cash on the table. And with that, the five of us sitting around a little white space heater at the reception desk at 9 Glen Osmond Road. We don't turn the heaters on. It was a really scary time. We didn't have any customers. We had a really thick non-compete clause from Datacom, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
You leave a business, they're saying, hey, we don't want you to take our customers. Absolutely get that.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So it forced us to really start afresh.
And you don't want to start that way, man. You don't want to start with a negative taste in your mouth.
It's just like you said before, you got to live by your values.
100%,
and you got to be able to. You're going to know at the end of the day if you were a dodgy person.
100%, and that's you got to self-check. Yeah. Absolutely. So you were around this table. There's a space heater at your shins. You guys are you trying to lean in, get these guys in the deal.
Hey, were you American accent in this? Right? Picking up. I go, where are you calling from? Nuago. No. Like, are you in San Diego?
Also, it's formed by this stage.
So
you decided to form with your brother, or
so we in end of March of 2016. We shook hands on let's go do this thing.
Yeah.
We started on July 1st of 2016.
Right.
So in those next 3 months was starting to go, okay, what does the team need to look like? Going and finding those team members, getting them on board, putting together the kind of the model profit and loss statement that we thought for the first couple of years that we would try to get towards. Of course, every business loses money in its first year.
100%.
And trying to figure out, what does our ideal customer look like? What are we going to stand for? What are our values?
Yeah.
Starting really with the proper order of marketing, right? Our why, our mission, our vision, our values, and everything's stemming down from that. Because often, and I mean, you own a marketing company, people often think that your marketing is your brand.
Yeah.
Which is one of the tenets that's the output.
Yeah. No.
But that was a lot of the time spent, up front.
Oh, wow.
So that we could really, when we started, so it was a lot of late nights and weekends because we were all still working at that point in time.
Yeah.
We wanted to be able to hit the ground running as quickly as possible because, we started pretty lean from a capital standpoint. We leveraged all our cash, as we were talking about earlier, from our home and our equity. Sitting there, so going,
bit of work.
You look at it a little bit differently, right? I took
100%.
80% pay cut to start the company.
Yeah.
Little one that had just arrived on the scene. So, had a business baby and a baby at the same time.
Man. Yeah, I remember it. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah. So.
And then because I think I was very close to the start of my business at the same time.
Yeah, it was around the same time.
And I was like, oh shit, Connor's doing something. And I was talking to Dino about it, and I was like,
I think we were at his Bucks party or something.
Yeah. That's like when we met, and you were like, I'm doing this thing, and I'm like, I'm doing this thing, and then I was like, 10 years, a year later, I reflect and I'm like, holy shit, man, Connor is just on fire right now. It looked like that from the outside, and you guys were killing it. You guys are, I came to your office, I think, and I was like, wow, everyone here is cool. And I was like, there's so many people in here, and then you knocking walls out, and I was like, dude, I got another wall to knock out. Hey man, I got another wall to knock out. And I was like, shit, man, you must be killing it. I'm like, you're doing well, man. So it was really cool to see, one of your mates just take something that is, every industry has a lot of competition, and you've taken something, you and your brother and your board members have taken something that is out there already, and you've made it into your own, and you've just boomed. In your own rights, right? You haven't, as you said, your values, you haven't poached people, you haven't gone to the dark side, you've just done what you think is right. And, I've met your brother, I think, twice, but not in as depth as I know you.
We've been at the bottom of a couple of bottles of gin.
Yeah, we had a couple of pints. But it's just, it's astonishing to see someone just take off, man. And I'm like me and Dino, just so proud of you guys to get there.
Speak about another guy. I mean, it's you realize you're not alone in this journey when you find other people that are doing it, because it can be lonely, right?
Oh man, yeah.
I mean, who do you look to?
Yeah.
Right? And it can be super stressful, right?
Yep.
The mental illness that can come from being a guy at the kind of senior end of the company, you're going, well, you got to make sure you surround yourself with mentors, right? And the people that are going to help you get back on the course. And when something bad happens, like both you and I have experienced in starting a business, you don't just call someone and go, dude, this happened today and it sucks.
Yeah.
And having someone that can actually understand
even that, just vent with them or come up with solution based, because everyone under you sometimes thinks that they are, not under you in that sense, but people that work with you and for you, they always think that you're okay and everything's fine, and which is what you have to do as a leader. You're the steer of the ship.
Yeah,
but I do think it's okay to show a little bit of vulnerability.
Absolutely,
every now and again.
absolutely.
Like, you need to be a genuine human. We're not bulletproof. But like, yeah, having that someone to lean on and having someone to call or having someone is so important in the startup of a business because everyone goes through the same things. As isolated as everyone thinks they are, it's the same.
It is.
It's the same.
It is.
It's cash flow. It's not realizing things. It's making mistakes. But it's not about, like, a lot of people, myself included, before I went through that journey of transformation, I'd crucify myself for mistakes, you know what I mean? And really get down on, like, you idiot, like, what are you doing? You know, and you just can't do that. You got to just...
That self-loathing
oh my God.
It stops you in your tracks.
What have you... I've actually implemented a new rule, a 5-minute rule, where I go, 5 minutes, I can do fucking anything.
Jump in the rage cage.
Yeah. Like, just like punch the wall. No, not the wall, but you know what I mean? Get fired up. After that 5 minutes, it's gone.
Quick meditation, move on.
I love meditating. Do you meditate?
Daily.
Oh my God, me too.
I'm a big Wim Hof fan. I don't know if you know about the Iceman. Wim Hof.
No, I am about to get stuck into the Wim Hof thing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Big time?
Love it.
I saw him climbing a mountain with no shirt on.
It's called Mount Everest.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, so I just saw the photo. I was like, Jesus.
No, so he's done a bunch of them, right? He has 26 Guinness World Records.
Oh my God.
Right? This dude is unbelievable. So he's got an app now where you can track, because it's the 3 tenets of his are basically breath work, ice baths, and mindset.
Wow.
Right. He incorporates exercise as well, so it's push-up challenge is part of it and whatnot as well. But it's each day. The whole premise of it is finding comfort in the discomfort.
Yes.
Right. And we're a lot more capable to deal with stress than we think we are. We just have these learned responses. We sit in our 23-degree temperature controlled environments, always, needing to be warm and those sort of things. So look, it's bloody hard when you get into an ice bath for the first time. You think you'll be in there for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But, spend 7-8 minutes in one of those things, and you start to go through the different phases.
The different phases of numbness, and then the pain, the burn.
Yeah, because you would have done them in hockey, right?
Yeah, heaps.
Go away for tourneys and stuff. And we used to, at least when I was playing in the States, we'd go and get, the bin while you're in the hotel room and go down the hallway and fill the bin up and then get them in the bath.
Yeah, in the bath.
You're playing 3, 4, 5 games a day, right?
Yeah.
You need that to get your legs back.
Your legs are cooked.
Absolutely.
I had to do it, even with just adrenaline. I'd be in the bath at home. Even cold showers in the morning.
Yep.
Just anything,
Absolutely. So I take the cold shower every morning, right?
Yeah.
Which is it's a hard thing to do when you're first starting, but then you just build up your time and your tolerance and that sort of stuff to it. And you just feel a lot calmer during the day. But the breath work piece is really, I think, the most beneficial.
Do you do the cage method, or what method
so
does he do?
His method is basically, it's 30 deep breaths in and out. Okay. And then on the exhale, you hold your breath. Yeah. And it's insane feeling, because you actually don't feel like you have to breathe. And you get up to, so my breath holds are up over 2 minutes now. And you go, you wouldn't ever, when you just normally try to hold your breath, it doesn't happen, but it's getting the oxygen to the parts of your body that really are not receiving it. So really just kind of teaches you through the day to, sit back sometimes and just take a deep breath and realize our response to stress is starting to tighten up, shorten the breath. And
breathe up in the chest up here.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Nothing comes down to the diaphragm.
And I've found that, because like Headspace is awesome. I had looked at a lot of Eastern philosophy meditation for a while. Tell me somebody in the world that can actually still their mind. Yeah. It is so hard to do. Right? And you always try to bring it back to the breathing. Yeah. And so for his, because it was so focused on breathing, I found that it aligned with me a little bit more. Yeah. Everybody gets their own. Meditation can obviously come in many forms, but I've found this to be fantastic. And the gym I go to in the city, World Fitness, they've got ice bath in there. It's one of the reasons I joined it, because going and sitting there in 3-degree bath and really just trying to sit there and breathe through it and kind of take it in, and the positive effects that it has on your vascular system and those. That's massive.
The benefits are huge, especially on mindset. And there is something in sitting in that discomfort. You're actually learning how to sit in discomfort, and it actually dulls the pain of situations.
It does.
And when you were saying about learnt behaviors, massive. You speak in my language, because a lot of people don't understand that a lot of the reactions and a lot of the things that you do every day are from a learnt behavior.
Oh, totally.
It's something that you've taken from your life, and whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, it might be there to shelter you. It might be there to, save you from a situation, or it might have just been a circumstance, if it's a bad reaction, where you've had to go into this shell when you were younger or whatever, and that was your safe place. And I've been learning along this journey that just to be more conscious of my thoughts, and then find my triggers.
Right.
And once you start really thinking about what is going on up here, and then training it, so if I have a self-doubt moment, right? Where did that come from? That's interesting. And don't be mad about it. go, that's interesting, okay, how did that happen? Wow, okay, that's very interesting. Where did that come from?
Absolutely.
And then go, thank you. I actually do a grateful part to it. So I go, thank you, for trying to help. And that's I just say that internally. Because
Gratitude's so important.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the gratitude thing. I'm trying to not be upset when I get upset with myself. I'm trying to work out of it.
Hey, you're a human being.
Yeah.
This is okay.
Yeah.
If we're not failing, we're not trying.
100%.
Right? And I think when you become a dad, I don't know if this is the same for you,
yeah,
you start to evaluate your behaviors a lot more.
Oh my God.
You hear a statement you say and you go, I'm my dad.
Yeah.
Or these sort of
you say one thing, eh?
Yeah. And then you start to realize, hey, where does that come from? And you do realize that you're just this big kind of meat bag full of chemicals that's carrying around a whole bunch of experiences that have shaped who you are.
100%. And you can actually change that. And that was one of the things I learned, a year or so ago. It seems very, very minor, but I realized that my life was my own. And what I mean by that is from my past experiences, I thought that I was destined to be a certain way.
Sure.
And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. They think that they're destined, like, oh, why me? Of course me. That's obviously that's why it was going to happen, right? This is me. This is my life. It's like, no. You are happening to life. Right. Life isn't happening to you.
Exactly.
You can choose what you do each day to be a better person. If you don't like the person you are and you don't see a way out, find a role model. Go, what is that guy doing? Okay, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing this. I want to start now aspiring and taking little steps every day to accomplish something. Give yourself a pat on the back. Cool. You got up, it's a simple thing that made your bed, done the dishes, whatever it is, take the step the next day just to make one thing better. If you don't have it, because I was suffering from depression through that journey. And that's what got me out. It got me out just by going, hang on a minute. I actually control my outcome. I control my input.
Absolutely. I'm driving the bus. I'm not a passenger on this thing.
100%.
Totally. So, and that, we were speaking about before, that taking action piece.
Yeah.
You're not going to transform overnight.
No.
But what can I do immediately?
Yeah.
You get that law of diminishing intent where you're going, well, you're going to be a lot less likely if you put it off by a week, 2 weeks, and those sort of things, right? But if I go tomorrow and I win the morning, all right, I'm going to be a little bit better each day. The sum of marginal gains. There's a book by a guy named James Clear that I read recently called Atomic Habits.
Right.
He talks about the sum of marginal gains. He talks about the UK cycling team. Yeah. Went from the last in the world to number one in the world year on year on year on year, winning every single competition. And they looked at every single thing in their team or their business, right? If you looked at the team as a business, they painted the inside of the truck where they transported their bikes white so they could spot specks of dust in there. They had their team travel with their own pillows so they could maybe get a little bit better sleep at night. Looking at the drag if they had hair on their legs and those sort of things, making them shave their hair or wax their legs and those sort of things. All these tiny little things, rubbing baby oil on their tires, all these different things that you go, okay, well, why would I do that little bit? Yeah. You add all of those things together and you look at the progress over a year that you can make with doing those tiny little adjustments. Yeah. Or you can do it the other way. Yeah. You can regress quicker.
And then keep crucifying yourself. Darker.
Exactly.
Yeah, you didn't do it yesterday. Of course you didn't.
What's happened has happened. Acknowledge it.
Yeah.
But then move on.
Learn, move on.
Yeah. Self-flagellating crap doesn't get you anywhere.
No. Completely agreed. I want to touch base on, the customer experience with Nuago. What is it? What's the magic sauce? What's the driving point?
Your people.
Yeah.
100%. Hiring people that are actually in line. So hire for values, teach skills.
Right? That's good too.
So my salespeople, most of them are not traditional salespeople.
Yep.
I hire them from different roles. We've a couple of guys I hired recently. One was from a technical background. He said, I want to get involved in selling. So I think you got a great perspective because you've been on the other side of the table. Another one of them had owned his own restaurant, was a chartered accountant, had been leading a medical practice. He's stepped into sales and has been doing tremendous things, right? Because when you interview them, when you're going through the process and you're saying, this person bleeds Nuago values and they're intelligent, you can teach a smart person anything.
100%.
Right? So, it may sound a little silly. I think everybody would say, what's the difference by my people? No, genuinely. We actually take our time. It is very hard to get a job in our business, and you meet with every one of the owners of the company through the process so that we get a different lens on that person as well. So I think interviewing is one of the most important things that you can do.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't take the time in that interview. They just go,
I just need a body.
Yeah. No, you need the body. I've learned that through my journey. I've had first year I had 7 traders come through here. they didn't clean up after themselves. They didn't have the values. They didn't rock up on time. And I was just like, this is not it, man. I started this company for these. This is my difference. This is what I believe in.
Good for you.
You know, and I just wouldn't put up with it, you know. And then it wasn't until I learned about asking the value questions as well in the interview, and about grit and about resilience, and you know, there's a way to ask those questions, and there are certain questions to ask to get those responses. It's not just how do you put a PowerPoint in?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Show
like
me.
yeah. How quick can you do it? You know,
Right.
Yeah, examples. You know, and one of the things I learned in interviewing was they can't lie three times. So ask the same question
Three different ways.
I
I mean, you'll see that happen in the basically interrogation rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not interrogating people.
Yeah. Yes, there's like a light on your face when you come in.
Yeah.
What are your values?
So.
Why do you want to work here? You know?
Yeah. Do you know anything about us? That's what an interesting question too I ask a lot of people is, do you know anything about us? You know, oh, you're a sparking company. Yeah, but like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Because one of the things I try and teach in the STP program is, once you've identified what trade you want to do, once you've identified there's sectors everywhere.
Sure.
So which one is it, right? We do this. Do you want to do this? If you don't want to do it, don't work here. You know, and a lot of people just take a job to get a job.
Exactly.
And it's like, do some research. It's all out there. The information's there. Hey, you guys do commercial. If someone rocks up to you, Nuago, and goes, hey, you guys do a lot of work with the schools, and I'm really passionate about, you know, improving the schools' platforms and improving their safety and their data safety and all their cloud-based safety security firmware. You know, that's going to set them apart from someone that walks in and goes, hey man, I know you guys do like data stuff and like cloud-based stuff, but can I get a job?
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
completely different ends of the spectrum, right?
if they do a bit of research, come in and know you guys and are ready.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what a lot of people in my industry forget. They just rock up and go, hey man, I need a job.
You know, and it's interesting, right? Because people think going to work, not everybody, the general, going to work, they have to be something different.
Yeah.
Work is a part of your life.
Work-life
Work-life balance is bullshit.
It is bullshit.
Work-life integration.
Yep.
You may as well go after something, like we're talking about Gary Vee a little bit before we started
Yes.
the podcast, right? One of the things that he would talk about very aggressively, and I don't agree with some of the ways he goes about his things, but there's some gold in there to be taken away from it, right?
Absolutely. Well, the thing, again, I think like we tick boxes on so many levels on the way we run our companies, and that's a tribute to our success. And a lot of people ask me, what are you doing differently? Why are you growing so rapidly? Like, I haven't grown as fast as you have, but in my world, in my sector, I have rapid growth. And
I see your vans everywhere. You guys are smashing.
Yeah.
You're too humble.
Thank you. But it is those things. I say to the team in the meeting, we do like a quarterly plan and we do a monthly thing. And I say, you know, the work-life balance is crap. It's 70% work. Your life is 70% work.
Yeah.
So you need to work out the yin to the yang, and you need to work out how to get that in. So my job is to tie my values with my company with your lifestyle.
Exactly.
You know?
And you don't need to switch hats.
No.
You're never confused.
No.
Because you operate with the same value sets that you do at home as you do at work. So, yeah, I think that's incredibly important. That resonates a lot with me.
Yeah, fuck, that's so cool. It's just so funny, like sitting here with you, because I haven't spoken to you like
been a while,
properly
man.
in about like a year and a half.
Yeah, it would have been before the pandemic, I think.
Yeah, at
Seems
least
like a couple of years almost. Yeah.
maybe even 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I popped past for a beer one night, but it's so cool to talk to you in depth about the business and in depth about, you know, your values, and it's just really, really cool to see, you know, one, that I feel like I'm on the same journey as you guys, and two, like, you know, just to find the ins and outs about how you guys operate and find about, you know, I love talking about core values. I love talking about, you know, the staff. I love talking about culture. So
that's the most important things.
it is.
You know, why you do what you do is so much more important.
The money's a byproduct of the culture
100%.
you create.
100%. If you make that primary grain, so you make capital, you make money, getting rich,
Yeah.
the primary thing, you're never going to get there,
Never.
right? Getting rich is not something, I want to build wealth,
Yeah.
but that's different, right?
Yeah.
You want to build that for your family so you can leave something behind and build a legacy.
Legacy.
But that will be a byproduct of doing the right things.
Correct.
And doing things right.
By people, clients, and your staff.
It's just how you live your life with everything you do.
And that is a good thing to point out. A lot of business owners think they have to be this person, right? They have to, as you said, wear a different hat. Once I'm in the building today, oh,
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
the boss.
Exactly. Boss you around.
Yeah.
I mean,
you didn't do this right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't do it right.
Yeah. Okay, go berate that person. See what sort of performance you got.
Yeah.
You gotta have a level of firmness. Hey, look, we're a culture of performance, as I mentioned before.
Yeah.
So we want to get the best out of you while you're here. Watch that thing, The Playbook, on Netflix recently. I talked about Doc Rivers on there. The guy who coached the Celtics and then he went to the Clippers. I think he got fired recently. You don't make the playoffs in America, you get fired. But he said, I'm not here to be your friend necessarily. I'm here to coach you to the person you have the capability to be. And I love that. Listen, and now, as a byproduct, I'm sure it's the same with you. You end up being friends with a lot of people you work with outside of work.
Of course.
So I've seen my friendship group change dramatically, and the people that I surround myself with, for the most part, are the people I work with and like-minded people like yourselves. Because I want to get more of the good stuff and the positivity of mindset hanging around those sort of people. Jim Rohn says you'll be the combination of the 5 closest people in your life. Yeah. Both from a value set perspective, probably from an income packet. Yeah. I'm not saying go hang out with a bunch of people with a whole bunch of dough. Yeah. But hanging around with people with a common value set will absolutely impact who you are as a person and the decisions you make.
Absolutely. And you got to live it every day. You can't lie.
You're judged on your worst day, not your best.
100%. 100%. And I think a lot of the old school mentality, and I love the new generation of business owners, and I love the new generation of vulnerability in males in general, and the stigma's gone, and we're just, as I said before, we're just people. So it's like, the world is rapidly growing in a moving forward in a great way for mental stability. Do you guys do much work with mental support at work, or do you some awareness stuff?
Huge.
Do you teach them meditation?
We offer that to other people. I'm kind of the crazy guy they'll see in the morning sitting there doing my Wim Hof for 15 minutes in my car when they roll. But the guys know, hey, if I'm sitting in my car, you see me like, can you just let me give me a minute? Yeah. But I love teaching that technique, and often I'll disappear for 5 minutes during the day and just quick breathing exercise and just try to be the best for my folks and try to be present in the moment that I'm there, because there's noise going on. I'm sure there's a billion things happening on our phones right now. Yeah. But being right here is where I need to be. 100%. And where I want to be. 100%. And I find that it just helps ground you in the moment to go, no, when I'm at home, I'm at home. I'm with my family and I'm sitting at the dinner table. Yeah. Right? That is not a time that it gets to be interrupted. Yeah. That's golden time for me. Same thing, if I'm sitting with one of my crew, I need to be there right there with them, because people can pick up on it. Yeah. Oh, hey, my phone, what's happening? Yeah, ding. Oh, especially everyone's always got a wearable on and all this sort of shit now that it's like, look, I work in tech. Don't get me wrong, I love tech for tech's sake, if it's enabling a function, but human beings is still the medium for me.
100%. And the work-life balance, again, doesn't exist. However, when you do go home, you need to have that time with your family. You do. Even if you are a business owner, even if you are stressed, you're going to go through it.
But you got to recharge the batteries.
My God.
Yeah. And you think when you start, you're going, all right, 23-hour days, I'm going to sleep for 15 minutes, I'm going to get up, hit the stacks real quick, and then I'm off. I eat a little Pop-Tart on the way out or something, go to work. But no, you will get more productivity out of yourself. Yeah. And you're working on the right thing.
If you take time. I actually recently read the book, The One Thing.
I've got that in my list on Audible. What do you think?
It's pretty good, man. It's the guy that wrote it. I can't remember his name, to be honest. It's extremely interesting. I have it on Audible, and it's just about focusing on one thing and one thing well. So even in the business, or he's saying that there's no such thing as multitasking. And if there is, it always takes from something else. As you're saying, when you're communicating with a staff member or if you're home with your family, I've implemented a phone goes away rule. Just fucking see you later, because it'll be there tomorrow.
It is. I mean, these things are designed with the psychology in mind, right?
Yeah. Oh,
they're built so that little dopamine hit when something comes up on the splash screen, right? Yep. It's that Social Dilemma movie. So
did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
You spend a month of your year on average on social media.
I know. I looked at my marketing team here afterwards, and I was like, she's like, don't worry. I'm not like that. And I'm like, you better not be. That's some of that stuff is outrageous, man. How they trigger you, they control you. They start riots, man. Like, and what is really sad about it is that negative information travels faster than positive.
Or you looked, I think it was, and I'm going to mess these stats up, so forget it. It's like females between the age of 10 and 14 are now 3 times as likely to experience mental illness problems because of imagery problems that they're fed on their Instagram or their Facebook or those sort of things. And I'm not trying to bash it, because there's some great stuff. I think the principles when people put these platforms out were, let's connect folks. Yeah. But it's got to have a level of regulation around it.
Absolutely.
Right? All they're doing is selling screen times. Exactly, right? I'm terrified you probably think about what's going on for Maple when she's 10.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And as a parent, you're checking your values every day with them. And then you go down this. I watched that show and I was like, my God. And it's now. Like, imagine 10 years later. You know, they're already suffering now. And as you're right, no one starts something to go, like I'm gonna fuck people up.
Totally.
Like, that's not a thing. The way that society has reacted to it's probably the worst way. But there should be a level of regulation because there's no switch off. There's no turn off. And like back in the day, you know, you remember Cheese TV, you know, best show in the world,
Absolutely.
Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, you know, but they had a rule on TV that you couldn't advertise certain products before 10 o'clock. Right? Because they knew the kids were watching cartoons. And that's some of the stuff that they should be implementing because that's unregulated.
Right.
Completely unregulated. And I don't even know how they would even fucking do it. Like that's going to be, that can of worms is just...
That horse is bolted, my man.
Yeah, it's done, you know, and now it's just exposure. And
like some of the programming. I mean, you're flicking through any of the streaming services and you're going, I have to watch it first now with my wife to make sure that some of the shit in there, I'm going, this is not the image I want to project to my child.
I know.
It's just preposterous how this stuff gets over the line. Do ratings mean anything anymore?
No.
There's like sexual innuendo in certain programs that are
Yeah.
PG. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I watched a cartoon the other day. Yesterday. It was the softest cartoon you've ever seen.
You just watching it on your own? Or was
Yeah, just by myself. I was reflecting. I was watching with a kid. You know, every now and again you get zoned in, right? You're just like, this is actually not too bad.
Absolutely.
But then the little girl just started beating on animals with a stick, and I was like, "What's going?" Like,
Yeah.
What?
Next minute, your dog's getting kicked by your dog or something.
You know, she had his sword and she's waving it, and I'm like, that's not right. Like, she shouldn't be watching that right now. And you can't protect him from everything. And
No.
everyone says to me, my kids swear every now and again. I don't really, you know, pay attention to it. I know I know it's happened.
Yep.
But I'm not going to be like, hey,
Don't
do
feed
that.
the behavior.
Yeah.
You know.
You just go, and then afterwards you circle back maybe and go, hey, what was going on then? What's the emotion? And one of the coolest things I'm doing now is teaching her to breathe. Like when she's in a meltdown, like their lids are gone. They can't, yelling at them saying stop crying and all this sort of stuff, it's just never going to change. Like they're just going to keep, they're not there, you know? So I sit down with them if I can get close, you know, or sometimes, you know, they're like, stay away from me, daddy.
Yeah.
So I just sit there, hold space. Quietly, calmly. I want to be the calm in their storm.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just try and take a step forward. One olive branch. Not ready for the hand? No worries. All right, it's cool.
Awesome.
I'm here. Daddy's here, you know? And then I get closer, you know, a little bit closer. And then I'll just hug him and I'll just go, breathe. And I'll just sit there and breathe with him for 2 minutes. You know, and then the coolest thing is Maple is doing it to Meadow.
Get out of here.
Dead set. 3-year-old is now going over to my 1-year-old and going, breathe.
That's got to melt you to a
I'm
puddle
here.
on the ground. Huh?
Maple's here. Dude, goosebumps.
Oh my goodness, my feelings.
Yeah, like, it's just amazing that she probably doesn't even know what that's going to do, but just that process, and all I can think about, like in 10 years' time when you're under pressure and you remember this moment, breathe, because I wasn't taught those skills.
Right.
I'm not sure if you were.
No way.
Some of those things that we've had to learn, and I guess as a society, they weren't really available back then.
Right, absolutely.
But it's so powerful.
It really
so
is.
powerful.
It's amazing what you learn from your kids. I mean, I was getting bitter. I was carrying on the road when, Daddy,
yeah.
I think you need to calm down.
It's
like, you're right, I do. I'm just in the car and somebody cut me off.
And you're like, is that going to change my day?
Exactly. No, but I got to take that on because I'm so into breathing myself. But I really hadn't thought about using that as a technique to help my daughter English calm down a little bit.
Yeah, man.
That's great. I'm going to steal that one.
Just sit there with her and just like hold space. Don't try and correct when they're really going. And then just breathe with them and go...
Right on. Maybe I'll even get her to do ice baths.
Yeah, I did a course with Kerwin Ray, and they had a guy come on. He's an Irish guy, Jerick. Oh, I can't remember his name. I'll send it to you. But his 7-year-old is doing the ice bath training. So he's doing the
Wim Hof.
Wim Hof.
Yeah.
He's doing the Wim Hof. He does that live. It's live. But now he's giving it to his kids and. He bet his kid that he couldn't go in the water for, 3 minutes. And the kid goes in. And the dad's just standing there in awe because the kid's going... and
a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
And that is something that you can take. Like
it's free.
Yeah.
Right?
And you're giving your kid a skill to calm themselves, and they will be a better person.
Oh, absolutely. What a gift you can give them, right?
My God, that's part reason why we gave birth to the Sydney to Trade program, is because I said when I went to that one weekend, I go, wow, if I knew that when I was 18, if I had these skills, these mental skills, the consciousness skills, the breath skills, what would my life look like?
Absolutely. You made me think of a quote that was on this archway as you walked into my university. It says, if I've seen further than others, it's because I've stood on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah, right.
I think it's Ralph Waldo Emerson. Why not learn from those that have come forth? And if we can impart those skills on our children, I mean, imagine the coping skills that they'll have. Because as you mentioned before, they're going to live in a stressful world. That
absolutely,
if we are where we are right now from a social media or just a societal stress perspective of all the things that happen day to day, the bullying that happens online and these sort of things.
Breaks your heart.
Yeah, we got to do everything we can to try to assist the next generation to be better. Right?
And that's the thing. People say to you, why did you have a kid? You know, the world's fucked. How's it going to get better?
By putting some good people on it, right?
Oh, fuck. It's simple, you know?
Absolutely.
Oh my God. No, that's awesome. That's so awesome.
It's good seeing you light up about your kids, man. You know.
Oh man, they're my world. They're like, you know, even sometimes I feel like sometimes if I have a bad day, I'm stealing some energy from them because they're just so good, you know.
Absolutely.
No matter what you're doing, you come home and they're just there, and you're just like
running up to your door. It's just like, what bad day?
It
doesn't matter what's happening.
Nothing.
Right?
I'm here. You know, let's have a little cuddle. Let's hang out. What's going on?
Everything's still all right.
Yeah. How's your day?
Absolutely. We've just tried this thing. You're talking about gratitude earlier.
Yeah.
What we do, and it's shout to Ben Schofield. I stole this from my business partner, but we have a vase on the table now, and each of us, my wife, my daughter, and I have our own color Post-it notes.
Yeah.
And when we sit down for dinner, we talk about one thing we're grateful for.
Oh, nice.
And then you write it on a piece of paper and put it in the jar. And Anna starts sitting there going, and she's doing like 3, 4, 5 of them now. I never told her that. She's like, "What else are you thankful for, Daddy?" And I'm
wow.
It's such a fun little exercise.
That's awesome, man.
And then you start building up the jar, and you see all the kind of colors in there. It just sits on the table, and
that's joy right there.
Absolutely.
You're looking at a glass of joy. You know, that's I'm gonna bring that home.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it, right?
Any little thing, you know, and for the kid, it's a fun exercise.
Exactly.
They're drawing with Mummy and Daddy.
Exactly. She's asking me all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm horrible at art, right? So she's like, "Dad, let's do crafts," and she's fantastic at it. My wife's an art teacher and all this sort of shit, right? So she always comes up with these amazing things, and I'm sitting there trying to draw a stick figure still. And,
I am too.
So this is a way to be able to do art with her.
Maple's at a point where she's drawing stick figures and she's surpassing my skill level.
Oh man. Yeah, I got surpassed. I think when she was first picked up a pencil, I'm like, "Oh, she's got me covered already."
Yeah, we're done here. We're done.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so good. Well, that's so good that you are replicating your values at home and at work, and that's in part what's the magic sauce. If everyone's going to ask what the magic sauce is, it's the values you live every day, attributed to your business, attributed to your staff.
There's really, I always like this saying, there's no elevator to success.
Yeah.
You gotta take the stairs. But I like to look at it as, well, can you take the escalator? Right? Because there's still stairs and you can go run up an escalator, right? Just like you could some stairs. But as you mentioned before, those that have come before us, we can learn so much from them. Don't stand on the rakes other people have had to.
Yeah.
Get out of your own way. Don't think that you're going to be the anomaly to the rule. Everybody goes through the same bloody journey.
And ask questions.
That is one of the most valuable things in life, is asking good questions.
Be vulnerable. It's free. Ask a question. You don't know? Ask. Don't go,
Any successful person I've ever met has never charged me for their time when I have asked them how they did what they did. Now, of course, I've gone through the training courses where you pay people $1 squillion to go, do a lot of the things to.
Yeah, the self-growth stuff, though.
Yeah, absolutely, which is totally worth doing, right? 100%. There's no better investment you can make than in your own education.
Yep.
And, trying to instill that in your children as well.
Yeah.
We've got this series of books at the moment that, there's one on Stephen Hawking, one on Maya Angelou, and those sort of things. And it tells in a context where a child can understand it, talks about why they were great people and influential people to give them, role models to grow.
Yeah.
I'll send you the title of the book series. I can't remember what it's called. But
yeah, definitely, man. That's great. I wanted to actually ask you, what's the future hold for Nuago?
Oh, I wish I knew.
No?
Right? No, I think that adventure is part of it, is staying in the present a little bit. Of course, forward planning, setting your vision. Yeah. You've got to, put down, what are we going to focus on? What are those kind of key strategies that we're going to need? As I mentioned at the top of the episode, was really, your why, your vision, your mission, your values are the most important things. And those, in order to achieve your mission, and missions are typically time-bound. What are the strategies we're going to employ to get towards that mission? And your mission is something that you continuously reset, whereas your why, is that compass point out in the distance, that kind of vision.
100%.
Super, and why and vision often get confused, and different schools teach it in different ways. But
Yeah.
as long as you've got all those things in the mix, I think you're setting yourself up to be really successful.
And as long as you review them.
Yeah, as long as we keep doing what we're doing well, and as long as it's exciting, I get bored very easily.
Yeah, me too.
So as long as we're continuously living by the value set, I want to keep growing the business, because it means more people are coming along and living by that lifestyle. And hey, if you're not growing, you're dying in business, right? There is no standing still, because your competition's gaining on you. I mean, we both grew up playing competitive hockey, right? So, you got to have a little bit of fight in you and those sort of things as well.
You're done. There's no stake. Because you guys take on like one a month now?
Staff?
Yeah.
So around about that. Yeah. So we're
How's the growth, mate?
it's going well, man. It's going
wow,
well.
that is...
We're really blessed, man.
Astronomical. What staff? How many guys? What's your team now?
I think we're 58.
Far out, man.
The lady starting on Monday, I think will be 58.
From a personal perspective, I would hate to see a PAYG.
I didn't just...
Yeah. Click, go.
Yeah, so I mean, look, any business, the biggest cost for you is going to be your payroll. But that's the thing that you should be focused on, because it's the people that are behind that. That's why when the pandemic hit, was going, I think at the time we had 40-something staff in there. Well, there's 40-something families eating from the table right now, and we owe it to every single one of them, because we looked them in the eyes and said, this is going to be a great place to work. And there was a lot of businesses in the industry immediately chopping wages of their people, directors still sitting on fat stacks. That's not what we were signing up for.
No.
So
you're here, you're a part of this family now.
Exactly.
And a lot of people throw that word family around a lot.
Makes me sick.
Yeah, and they just, when the tough gets going, they find the easiest thing to cut out.
Just rip Gordon. No, it's all about me. I'm not going to forego my exotic vehicle this year or whatever it is, right? So
100%.
No, it is unfortunately not as common as it really should be. So hopefully from great things like you're doing, like this podcast and the outreach that you're doing, more people will start to see that.
Well, I want to just encourage people to, one, take the leap of faith with the businesses, but and how to structure it, how to know what to do, and know that there's a place out there that you can go talk to people.
Absolutely.
And know that there's, like, people have done it before. Yeah.
What was the moment for you? Like, when did you go, it's time to give back? What caused that for you?
It was that 3-day course I did with Cohen. I reflected on what I started out to do, and what I started Voltec for me, was to create somewhere where the trades would be trusted.
Yes.
The invoices would be what they were, the quotes would be what they were, and the outcome would be exactly what we said it was going to be. The communication would be there, and we're punctual, clean, and that's all. That was the founding part to it. Then I got lost in the day-to-day, just trying to fucking grind those first 3 years out. Just trying to get it going, Yeah, and I'm not sure. You would be fiercely competitive too, but there's so many people that are out there doing electrical businesses. There's like thousands, and the price point drops and up and down and all that sort of stuff. So you're battling, and then you go, hang on a minute, like, what am I doing here? I need to get customers that, live my values. I need to get customers that understand that they're paying for a better product.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't need to, not waste my time, but get caught up with trying to chase everybody. I'm not trying to chase everybody.
Exactly.
You want to work with people that you want to work with, right? And then when I went to that seminar, I had a bit of depression and stuff going into that, and anxiety and things like that. And I really came out of it. And as I said before, it was like taking my head out the sand and going, what the fuck are you doing? Like you've got this company, you've got a great team. And I didn't really understand values in a business at that point, because I'm just trying to work my way through it. I'm not educated in business at all. But I've always led with my heart and my gut, right? So that's got me to where I'm at.
Absolutely.
And if I feel like if I just do right by people, we're going to be okay, and there's obviously a plan and structure and things in place, but if I make that on the values, we're good. But I didn't understand how to bring that into the team. And then that's when I realized that to actually change the industry like I set out to do, I don't just have to run an electrical company anymore. I have to change the early generation. I have to assist them in making the right decision from the start of what they want to do.
100%.
What trade? Do you know about it? And we go down that questions. And the reality is that 60% of the population are in construction, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it that high?
It's that high.
Wow.
And I think, no, I don't think this might be a little bit off, but the suicide rate is also 6% male driven in the construction industry, right? So, these are decisions that are made over an echo over a lifetime, and the culture has to change, and the way that people engage have to change. And it's
100%.
I think it starts at the start when you talk about what you actually want to do, and to be honest, at schools, it's like trade's a dirty word, right? If you don't go to uni, you're fucking like, what are you doing, buddy? Like, you want to be a plumber? Like, that is the mentality I had.
Right.
I didn't have. I had put upon me.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's about reflecting on that, and then I didn't have the options or the resources to find out about any of this. Everyone's
you don't know what you don't know, right?
Everyone's trying to compete to get you to be a Sparky, but no one's telling you what the fuck it is. No one's sitting down and going, all right, man, here's the cards. This is what you're going to be up for. This is what you're going to get paid. And then when you go into a workplace, there's no safety. You're just working for this dude, or this girl, or
just feel exposed out there on an island.
Yeah, and you're like, that anxiety going the first day is awful. You're not going to get rid of that, but you're going to be better trained if you go in this way.
Absolutely.
And so then that's when the pivot was. So about a year and when did we start? About a year and a half ago. And that's when I really hit it hard, and now we're going to schools, we're talking to kids about becoming tradies, and I'm actually doing a ride-along program. So on top of this thing we're doing, which is really cool, we actually bring in, we've got 100 kids a year coming in, and they can do 2 days plumbing, 2 days Sparky, and 2 days air conditioning.
Right, and just get a kind of a nice spread.
You get a real world view.
Yeah.
It's all well and good to read in a book. Come check it out. What are you going to do?
Absolutely.
Do you like this? You might think you like being a plumber. And everyone thinks that plumbers just deal with poo all the day. That's so false.
No, that's what parents do.
That's what, up till 5, that's what we be doing.
Right.
But, and that's when it was. And that's when, you know what? That was the turning moment in my life, because the team around me were just ecstatic.
That's killer.
You've never seen more motivated people. When they got something that is not driven by money, as you said, the buy-in and the process,
at that point.
My God, they were working late just to get it done, just to help out. They were doing everything. What can we do? What's next? And then after we launched this program, right? It took us, I think, we invested about $50,000 into the program.
I know.
Time-wise and resource-wise, and then copyrights and things like that. And we would have meeting after meeting, what's in it, what should be in it. It should be written from a trade, not from a guy in the office. It should be written this way, and it needs to be digestible for a kid. And then at the end of it, I remember sitting down with 2 of my staff members, the head of the office and the head of the operations manager, and they looked at me and they said, "What's next?" And I was like, "Hang on a minute, like I need to breathe, guys. Like we just nailed this thing that's like potentially going to have a knock-on effect to change so many people's lives." We need to work out how this is going to work first, and then we need to also, we'll work on some more stuff later.
Absolutely.
But the buy-in from the team is something that I didn't even see coming, and I was completely blown away.
That's awesome. There's this video my brother played in early days when we were a little shitbag startup that trying to talk to anybody that would listen to us, and it's this guy at some sort of outdoor festival. It's obviously had a few too many somethings. He's standing there dancing by himself. It's crazy. I think it's called Crazy Dancing Man or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's by himself, and you see everybody kind of looking at him. And then within 1 minute, everybody there is around this guy. They're all dancing with the same dance moves as him. And that's kind of what it feels like at first. You're out there on your own going, man, I'm vulnerable as, right? And that's a hard thing to do, especially with, guys that think we're tough, haven't played hockey, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
No, we're not tough at all. And I think showing that vulnerability is so key to having people come along the journey with you, right? I'm an emotional cat, right? Yeah. I'm not going to hide from that.
No.
I try to mediate it as much as I can, measure it as much as I can, right?
Yeah, I agree. Completely. You got to be real. I've been teaching these guys to regulate their emotions as I'm going through the journey. We do this really cool thing actually. Every Monday morning we do our TOPS, right? So the tactical operation procedures.
Cool.
So the top and how we derive those is we get our mission, we get our values, we get all of that stuff, and then we write down per sector what's going to catapult us.
Right.
What does that person need to edge out time? Because there's working below the line, there's working above the line,
Absolutely.
the creative space, right? So I want the team to learn to work up here as much as they can, even though there is the day-to-day, but you need to be creative. You need to be able to dip into that pool, and for us to move forward as a company, you need to allocate time to those operational
activities.
things.
Yeah, the important but not urgent stuff. Right?
Exactly. And then one really cool element of it is it's a it's something that you're struggling with. So we sit down and I'm telling you, it gets vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
We've had tears down there in there, and we're talking about like self-body image. We're talking about.
Tell me any company that hasn't had some tears in the board.
Oh man.
I'll show you a bunch of liars, right?
Yeah, 100%. And so then they come in every Monday and they share. So one of our guys has imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
He's
a common one.
Yeah. So, but a little bit of him know what it is. So he's tasked with how to identify it, how to what have you learned about it this week, and then he shares that quickly with the team.
Awesome.
And they actually learn it, and a lot of people were like, "Wow, I actually have a small piece of that," And then, but they're all learning, right? So he's doing that, but then we also use that for our social media. That comes in, we can use that to now, all that gets written down.
Absolutely. And
we're giving it to the kids in that program. Imposter syndrome, mental health battles, self abuse, whatever it is. The team is actually dissecting but they're learning, they're growing, which brings in values, which brings in their personal life and their growth.
Awesome.
So that's
man, you guys have come a long way.
That's pretty cool. Like
that's one I wanted to share with you. We've tried recently. It's called Stop, Start, Keep.
Okay.
We're talking about being vulnerable, right? We've done this. We went through Center for Business Growth at UniSA, which my old man is one of the growth experts at, and it's a really confronting exercise. And you sit there so your owners go away for these basically 9 days, and you have a 3-month gap in between the 3 sessions. You have 3 days, 3-month gap, 3 days, 3-month gap, another 3.
Yeah.
And in the last one, you do something called Stop, Start, Keep. There's something I want you to stop doing, something I want you to start doing, and something you need to keep doing.
Yeah, right.
And it's really vulnerable because I'm sitting there, you're doing this to, guys that you sit there in the pit with every single day. And you had to do it in front of the other 6 or 7 companies in the room as well.
Wow.
And so it's now something we do with our quarterly offsite as the leadership team, is sit there and, here's the things that I think we need to work on. And it's that getting away from the egotistical crap, right?
Yeah,
We've all got stuff to work on.
Yeah.
You missed a shot, you did something, you missed an assignment on the ring. Coach came and gave you a spray.
Yeah.
Why is he giving you a spray? Well, you got to learn, right? You wouldn't really talk back to it. You go, all right, yeah, cool. I got to stop hitting the crossbar.
100%. 100. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's profound, isn't it? It's very.
Well, I'd say it was certainly a helpful one, right? It's
those
little nuggets you pick up along the way. I think people think sometimes when you pick up a book, you got to become the full thing.
Full thing. Yeah.
Those little nuggets you can take.
Take a piece.
Maybe get rid of some of the old ones you thought of, but
take a piece.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if it doesn't work on something else. Find something new.
Yeah. At least you've tried.
Yeah.
You've gained the knowledge.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We're in this life. That's one of the things I've changed my mindset on. Is I'm not here to win. The game I'm playing now is to gain knowledge. My whole life. That's it. There's no winning and losing.
Yeah. Live as if you'll die tomorrow, but learn as if you'll live forever.
Exactly. There's no way that I can fail if I'm just learning.
Absolutely. Because the only failure is not learning.
What are we here to do?
Precisely, man. I love it. Dude.
Oh, well, thank you so much for coming
Thanks
on,
for having
man.
me on, man. Appreciate it.
How can the fans out there get a hold of you, mate? What's your handles?
Oh, social media. No, I was kidding.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn, Connor O'Rourke at LinkedIn, or Connor.O'Rourke at Nuago.com. Love to help anybody I can, man. I think it's so fantastic what you're doing, giving back to people. So if there's anything that I can do, if anybody wants to listen to my silly Yankee antics, I'm happy to help.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate your time.
That's awesome.
Love you, bro.
Thanks for having me. Love you too.
Right on, man.